Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be ranking all of my Pat McGrath palettes. So I have 5 of the 9 Motherships and both of the Holiday Mega Mothership palettes. So I'm going to do a ranking of all of them, and then this will probably be something that I repeat like once a year or so, just because new palettes come out. Now that I've fallen in love with Pat McGrath's formula, I'm going to keep buying them, and I'm going to have to redo my rankings as new things get released. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I am a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup with a soft spot for any makeup and colorful makeup, and I have new content every week, so I'd love to have you subscribe. I thought about doing just the Motherships, but then I wanted to incorporate the holiday palettes because I do really like them, and there's only 2, so I can't really just rank those separately. So once I collect more Pat McGrath stuff over time, I will probably have like a Mothership ranking and a other palettes ranking or something. But for now, I'm just putting them all together. So, this was kind of hard. I knew what the top 1 or 2 would be, but the middle end was hard because I like all of them. So I will put that disclaimer here. I love all of these. The reason I don't have every Pat McGrath palette is 1, they're expensive, and 2, some of them I don't know if I will ever actually get, like Divine Rose 1. I don't know if I'll ever buy that. So I love all of these. I've also not paid full price for any of them, except for one of the holiday palettes. So I'm also very happy about that. Because these are expensive palettes. But I do love all of them, so it's mostly just color story wise and how much I use it versus like quality or anything like that. And if you're interested in the makeup look that I'm wearing, that video should already be up. I recently finally bought some Viseart palettes and tried them out for this, and I am also in love with these, so I will link that video up here. So number 6 and 7 were hard, and I went back and forth a lot, but coming in at number 7 is going to be Mothership 5 Bronze Seduction. So I do really love this palette. It's just not tones that I reach for all the time. This is very sparkly, very smoky, so it's not necessarily daily for me, but I do really love it. I love that the dark shade is a really dark purple. So I really like the astral shades down here. They're really special. This red is beautiful. I just don't reach for it very often because I just don't go for red shimmer that often. The bronze is pretty, but it's just a bronze, and a lot of her palettes have bronze in them. And this shade is a little more taupey, and I really love it, but it's a little more sheer than I would like. I wish this had this formula, like a little thicker. If this shade was a little less sheer, I think this would bump up a little bit higher. But I do really love this, and I think it's totally worth it. And I love adding these astral shades on top of other looks that I do. So I do really love this, and I'm happy I have it, but it does have to come in 7th place. So coming in 6th place is going to be the first Mega Mothership. This is the Celestial Divinity palette. So I received this as a gift, and I'm really grateful of that. I really love this palette. The reason it ranks lower is the quality of the packaging isn't as nice. Like, this is just a sticker. But thinking about the color story, I really love some of these shades a lot, but I don't love the mattes in this. They're all kind of pinky, and I just don't wear pinky tone mattes very often, which is why I don't really want to get Divine Rose 1. Might get Divine Rose 2 eventually on a deep discount, but just like pinky mauvey tones are not what I go for. I have olive skin. They look fine. People compliment me when I wear them. It's not my favorite look on myself. But it is mostly shimmers, and I really love the shimmers. There's some really beautiful purples in here. There's some really beautiful duochromes, and then there's pink tones again. So it's just the fact that I don't reach for pink tones very often in eyeshadow. I prefer it as a lip or as an outfit than eyeshadow, if that makes sense. But I do really love this, and to the person that sent me this, I'm still very grateful. It's so pretty. So 4 and 5 are also kind of tied, and we're kind of neck and neck, and I kept switching back and forth, but I think I'm gonna stick with this. So coming in 5th place is going to be my newest one, and this is Mothership 3 Subversive. So I love this palette. I do find it interesting that there's only 2 mattes, a black and a dark brown. The shades in here are beautiful. I really love Gigabyte. It does pull very yellow on me, not very green. I think it's supposed to be kind of a chartreusey olive, but it just pulls yellow on my olive skin. I love this blue purple astral shade down here. The reason the other one beat this one out is I don't really use this like sparkly black very often. This is also very smoky, which I really love when I want it, but is not something I grab for as often as the others, so I just push them up because I just use them more. But I do really love this, and I'm so happy I got this. I got this for $47, and I still can't believe that. And it's amazing. I do wish this like brown satin, I love her satin formula. I just wish this was a little different because it's basically exactly the same as the matte here, but satin instead of matte. And I wish it was a little different just so that it stood out a little bit more. But that's really the only thing. But I do love this. Okay, and so coming in 4th place is going to be the newest Mothership until Mothership 10 comes out, and that is Utopian Dreams. So I really love this palette. I didn't love it when I first saw it, but the more I looked at it and then once I got it and tried it, I understood, and I really love this. So the reason this isn't higher is because, again, it's got kind of mauve pinky tones over here, and I just don't reach for them very often. This shade is beautiful. It's also a really pretty blush. It's coral. I like coral more than I like pink, and I like coral more than I like mauve. I do think this should just be Divine Rose 3, but the reason this is placed here, though, is these astral shades, they are messy, but they are so beautiful. These are my favorite astral shades in any palette, and I really like the multichrome, and I really love this bronze here. It's more of a pink bronze, and this pink shade is also really pretty when I want to wear it, but this bronze shade is beautiful. One of those where you can put it on, blend the edges with one of these, call it a day. The astral shades almost put this higher, but the fact that it's a little more pinky and I just don't grab pink tones very often is what pushed this down a little bit. But I do grab these astral shades to put on top of other looks all the time. Okay, coming in 3rd place is going to be this year's holiday palette. This is Celestial Odyssey. I love this. I think I said this was my favorite palette of 2021. It doesn't have any special astral shades or anything like that, but it is beautiful. I like this more than the first holiday palette one. The packaging is a lot nicer. And it's got that black lacquered right here. There's just more variety in here. You've got this really beautiful green. You've got a blue, blue and green are my favorite colors. You've got this really nice taupe shade, this like lilac shade that I really love. This bronze Nova shade is one of my favorite shades ever for a quick work look. That with one of the mattes in the crease. I love this. It has a sparkly black and a brown satin, so those are basically not exactly the same, but very similar to the ones in Subversive. So that's also why Subversive went a little bit lower. But I just love this. I think it only has 4 mattes. It has 2 pinky ones, 2 brown. I think the selection worked really well. I love this so much. And I think for the price, this is the best because it was like $68 and you got all of these pretty shades like in such a good formula. I think this is your best deal. And it's so pretty. I still use this all the time. Let me know in the comments what you think number 1 and number 2 are, like which one's first and second, because if you know me, you probably can guess. So number 2 is going to be Mothership 1 Subliminal. I love this palette. This was my go-to palette for all of January and February. As soon as it's gloomy out and kind of cool, I just want to reach for these. This Ultimate Taupe is like the perfect neutral for me. It's not too cool, but it's not warm at all. It's like a true neutral. It's got a nice kind of charcoal shade. It's got the same black as Subversive. It's kind of blue. I love blue. I am a slut for blue. I love blue eyeshadow. It's got a blue iridescent shade. It's got this blue shade. I love this palette so much. These are both satin shades that I wear all the time for quick work looks. I love this palette, and it was almost number one, but number one just holds a special place for me. But this is definitely always in competition for which one is my favorite. Okay, and so if you know what Pat McGrath palettes I have, you know what number one is gonna be, and I'm curious if anybody predicted this, but number one is gonna be Midnight Sun. So Midnight Sun doesn't have the most special astral shades as some of the others. Like Heutopian Dreams astrals are way nicer, way more sparkly and special. But this was my first Pat McGrath palette, and this is the reason it was my first. And I had a coupon and there was a sale and it worked out perfectly. So, or I had a gift card, not a coupon. But it's my perfect, like, most used palette. So it's got a warm brown that is a great transition shade on me. It's got another charcoal shade, but this one's even more charcoal-y, if that makes sense. It's like a true charcoal. The highlight shade, beautiful on my skin. It's got another bronze. I like this bronze more than I like the other one. It's got an olive green, which is my favorite. It's got this beautiful terracotta shade that I adore. And then it's got a bluey purple. So this shade, I think this shade is also in Divine Rose 1, is really pretty, and I like to put it on top of other things. I don't love these two shades. I will use them, but I don't love them. But it's got like my perfect daily shades with like this brown and this bronze or the green. It's got my favorite colors. It's got terracotta, bluey, purple, and olive green. So it had to be my first, and it had to be my favorite. This is like my daily palette. Like if I had to have a daily palette from Pat McGrath, it would be this one. So I love this palette so much. It's so special, and I love that this was my first. So I love how earthy it is. I really like earthy tones. If anybody would like my favorite earthy tone palettes video, I've had that thought for a while, but I just haven't filmed it. So let me know in the comments, but I love this. So, and now someone's screaming outside. Let me know in the comments below what you think of my rankings. And if you have any of these, what your thoughts of them are. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.